It was supposed to be a refuge of affectionate memories, that legacy left by the grandmother Anna loved so much. But what the young woman and her parents found upon arriving at the country house was a scene that froze the blood in the veins. The mother-in-law and sister-in-law, without the slightest embarrassment, emptied the site like an abandoned warehouse, carrying invaluable sentimental objects to a door parked at the door. "Take whatever you want," said my son, said the mother-in-law with a disdain that cut deeper than any knife. It was when Anna, with trembling hands and her heart to pieces, dialed her husband's number and put the call on the lively. May's son was generous on that first day of the month, as if heaven himself wanted to honor the memory of Maria Stepanovna, the grandmother who had departed 3 months earlier. Anna, with her heart tight for longing, convinced her parents to pay a visit to that little piece of paradise that meant so much for her. It wasn't just a country house, it was a childhood sanctuary, where each corner kept laughs, life lessons and the sweet smell of strawberry jellies that grandmother prepared with such affection. For 6 summers, Anna had spent 2 months a year there, learning to cultivate tomatoes, preserving cucumbers and, above all, to value the little things that make life special. "We need to put everything in order," she insisted, while the car was serving the dirt road. Grandma didn't deserve to see her garden so abandoned. The ever-comprehensive mother tried to calm her down. "Daughter, together we will leave everything new." But what should be a day of reconnect Ion with the roots turned into a nightmare the moment they saw the house. The small cottage, with its decorated windows and the cozy balcony where Anna had heard so many stories, was being plundered. 2 women, with shocking indifference, transported furniture and objects as if they were owners of the place. "What's going on here?" Anna whispered incredulously while her father braked sharply. She jumped from the car even before it stopped completely, running toward those strange that, unfortunately, were not strange. Her mother-in-law, Genadivna Lation, a woman with a permanently bitter face, and Daisy, the sister-in-law, whose only remarkable ability was to poison any environment with her cynicism. "What are you doing?" Anna shouted, seeing the mother-in-law carry the wall watch that belonged to her great-grandmother, a piece that had crossed generations. Larika didn't even bother to look into her daughter-in-law's eyes. "Ah, it's you," he said, as if Anna were an intruder. "We're just getting some things. Your husband authorized. Take whatever you want," he said. The tone was of those who spoke of a deposit of old things, not a home full of history. Anna felt the world turn. Her hands trembled, her voice failed, but she turned and saw her parents, standing, testing that affront. "What does take whatever you want?" he demanded to know, while his chest was burning with indignation. "This house is mine. My grandmother made me all this." Daisy, thin and always with an air of superiority, laughed with disdain. "Ah, please. You and Kirill are married, so everything is both of you. And he gave us permission. Who will want this lot of junk?" Anna felt her tears burn, but held on. "Not this time. Not here." With a quick movement, he took his cell phone out of his pocket and dialed her husband's number. Kirill answered, and she, bluntly, put the call for everyone to hear. "Kirill," he started, trying to keep his calm, "I arrived here with my parents and found his mother and sister carrying things from Grandma's house. They say you authorized. Is it true?" The silence on the other end of the line was deafening. Until his voice came cold and distant. "Yes, I said they could get whatever they wanted." "You." The same said it was going to reform the place, so it is better to empty, isn't it? Anna felt like she had punched her stomach. The mother-in-law smiled, triumphantly, as Margarita crossed her arms, as if the victory was right. "Kirill," Anna pronounced each syllable with a terrifying calm, "this house and all inside her is mine. My grandmother left me as an inheritance. You have no right to give anyone to touch what is mine." "Stop this drama," he said impatiently. "It's just old things. My mother wanted those old watches for her collection, and Daisy liked the dresser. What's more?" Anna looked at her parents. The mother's face was pale with shock. The father, with his fists, seemed ready to explode. "Are you serious?" she asked, the voice breaking. "These objects are my story. My grandmother dedicated her life to them." "Anna, calms down," ordered Kirill, now annoyed. "Don't make a scene in front of my family. We talk later." That's when something inside her broke. She looked at the mother-in-law, with her mocking smile, to her sister-in-law, with her air of contempt, and then to her parents, who supported her in silence. "Do you know one thing, Kirill?" he said, surprisingly serene. "I thought you respected me, that I respected my family. But today I see it was wrong. You cheated on me. It allowed them to profane the only place that was still calling my grandmother." "You're exaggerating," he replied, but insecurity already transparent. "No, I'm not," Anna cut, her voice firm. "Either you send them back everything and leave right now, or our conversation is over." "And not just the conversation." "Or what?" challenged Kirill, but the tone was no longer the same. "Or I call the police right now and record a police report for attempted theft. I have witnesses," he said to his parents. "And then I come up with the divorce." The silence that followed was heavy. "Anna, don't be ridiculous," he tried, but the force had already abandoned his words. 3 years holding on your mother, getting the bordello in our life, criticizing every decision of mine, manipulating you. 3 years trying to be the perfect daughter-in-law, the understanding wife, while you never had the courage to defend me. But this is too much. My inheritance is not negotiable." The mother-in-law arched indignantly. "How do you dare talk to my son?" It was then that the voice of Anna's father echoed, severe and uncompromising. "Ladies, this is a private land, owned by my daughter. Either return everything they took and go now, or we call the authorities." Kirill, still on the line, heard every word. "Anna, stop this theater," she begged, but she had already made her decision. "No, Kirill. Either you take control of the situation right now, or all between us is over. And it's not a threat." The uncertainty in his voice was the confirmation that for the first time Anna had put her feet on the floor. And it would not retreat. Anna's words echoed as a final verdict. "Babushki, I can't stand that anymore." Across the line, silence settled, dense and heavy. Until Kirill, with a voice that was barely heard, broke the stillness. "Mom, Rita, leave everything and leave there." "What?" Genadivna Lation could not believe what he heard. Her eyes widened, unbelievers, while the hand that held the cell phone shivered slightly. "Will you allow this arrivist to humiliate us like this?" Her voice cut the air like a blade. But Kirill did not hesitate. "Mom, do as I say. Please. We talked at home." The tone was firm, but there was something in him, a fracture, a crack in the usual armor. Genadivna Larka seemed to punch in the stomach. His previously inflamed face of indignation, he paled. She gave a hatred look toward Anna, but after a second of tension, she nodded to Margarita with a sudden movement. "Come on, Rita. Kirill will solve this misunderstanding. Your prophet." They sounded like a sweet poison, but the message was given, they would retreat. For now. The two began to discharge the gazelle objects back to the courtyard, making a point of throwing each piece with a calculated carelessness. Jana, instinctive, threw herself to hold the old wall clocks that her mother-in-law had almost dropped to the floor. "Careful," he shouted, his heart on his jumps. "What's that?" "A lot of old joke," buffed Daisy, throwing a carved wooden box over the bench with disdain. Anna bit her lip to bleed so as not to let go of what she thought. Instead, he observed each movement, each object being returned, checking with eagle eyes if something was damaged. Would not give them the satisfaction of seeing their fury. Finally, gazelle emptied. Genadivna Larka advanced to Anna, so close that she could smell her cheap perfume mixed with the sweat of defeat. "You will regret it," he said softly, as if the words were a curse. "My son deserves much more than a greedy and ungrateful girl like you." Anna didn't flashed. Did not go back. "Get out," he said, with a calm that surprised her. "Now." The two women climbed in the car with a noise of doors knocking hard. Gazelle tore off, raising a cloud of dust that stopped in the air like a omen. When the engine noise was lost in the distance, only an oppressive silence was left, broken by the corner of the birds and the wind in the trees. Anna turned to her parents, who had watched everything in silence, ready to intervene at any moment. "Sorry, Mom," he murmured, his voice failing. But the mother left no room for guilt. "What a nightmare, my daughter. But you did it." She hugged her tightly, as if she wanted to protect her from the world. Anna felt her body shake lightly, the adrenaline giving way to deep tiredness. "I think I just solved one of the biggest problems of my life," he confessed, with a fragile smile. The father put his hand on his shoulder, firm. "You have acted as it should, Nodoka. No one has the right to dispose of what is yours without your consent. Not even a husband." Anna nodded, looking at the objects scattered on the floor. "Let's keep everything back home and organize things. Then we decide what to do." And so they did. They spent all day restoring the order, cleaning each piece, every furniture, as if they were also rebuilding something inside themselves. Anna spent a soft cloth on her grandmother's watches, remembering how, as a child, she loved to hear her melodious tilint, as if they told stories of a time she never knew. At dusk, when her parents withdrew to the guest room, she was alone on the porch with a cup of tea between her hands. The cell phone showed 27 Kirill lost calls. But Anna had no strength to hear her excuses now. Instead, she typed a short, blunt message: "I need time to think. Don't call me for now." A week later, back to the apartment in town, Anna met Kirill waiting for her, her face marked by guilt. "Anna, let's talk," he began, his hands extended in a gesture of supplication. "I know it was wrong." She shook her head without moving herself. "No, Kirill. You don't understand. It was not just about Dacha. It was not just that day. You never put our relationship above your mother's wishes. It has always chosen her side." "It's not true," he tried to protest, but his voice's own weakness betrayed him. Anna smiled, bitter. "Who let your mother invade my property? Who agreed when she decided where we would spend the holidays? Who was silent when she criticized me for every detail, my work, my clothes, even how I served tea?" Kirill looked down. "I just wanted everyone to be happy. Everyone but me," Anna replied softly. "I deserve more, Kirill. I deserve a man who is from my side." She collected her things, left the keys of the house on the table and left without looking back. The divorce was finalized in 3 months, without fights for goods. There was almost nothing in common to divide, just furniture and appliances, which Anna left him without blinking. The grandmother's dacha, however, became her refuge. She transferred her work there as a graphic designer, could act remotely, and gradually turned the house. He kept his welcoming soul, but added modern touches, as if sewing his past and future with gold wires. A year after the divorce, while pruning the rose trees in the garden, Anna met Dmitri, the new neighbor. He had bought the ground beside and, seeing her fighting with the gate damaged by a storm, offered help. "Let me fix it to you," he said with an easy smile. Conversation goes, conversation comes, found that Dmitri was an architect and had a passion for old houses. "You did an amazing job here," he praised, admiring the preserved details. "Your grandmother would be proud." Anna felt something warm inside her. It was not only the kindness of words, but respect in them implicit. Dmitri never tried to make decisions for her. Never pressed her. It was only present. 2 years later, they married in the same garden, among the flowers that Anna's grandmother had planted decades earlier. And a year after marriage, while shopping at the supermarket, Anna bumped into Genadivna Larika. The former maid was visibly aged, with deep dark circles and a tiredness that seemed to have settled in her bones. "Hello," Anna greeted, surprisingly polite. "How are you?" "Well, thank you," said Anna, genuinely surprised. "And you?" Larika sighed, as if carrying the weight of the world. "Not much." Kirill married again, with a very rich family girl. They bought a house in the countryside and, well, they don't invite us anymore. They say we interfere too much. Anna could not avoid a light, ironic smile. "I regret to hear that," he lied, with a hint of satisfaction he couldn't hide. "Sometimes I think that day in Dacha," Larika confessed unexpectedly. "Maybe I went too far. Those watches. They were important to you, weren't they?" Anna nodded. "My great-grandmother brought them from St. Petersburg after the revolution. It was all that was left of their lives before. I apologize," the former maid murmured for the first time in years without a challenge tone. "I was very selfish." Anna watched her, and strangely didn't feel angry. Only one stillness, as if that chapter had finally been closed. Everything happens for a reason, he said, sincere. If it wasn't that day, maybe I was still in a wedding where I was not happy. Where it was not respected. She hesitated, then added, I hope you find your peace too. Genevievna Larica did not answer. Maybe I didn't know how. Anna said goodbye and went to the cashier, where Dmitri was waiting for her with a basket full of delicacies for the weekend picnic. They would receive their parents and younger brother from Dmitri with their family. On the way home, Anna thought of how a single choice, that day, had redesigned her whole life. Grandma's clocks now occupied a place of honor in the room, marking the time of a happiness she never imagined possible. And each time his tilint echoes around the house, Anna smiled, as if he heard the approval whisper of her grandmother, proud of her granddaughter who had finally learned to value herself.